All right, so we just finished talking about the spectrum of front-end frameworks. We use kind of right in the middle. We npm install -g @vue/clid, like so. And we are about to run our first command, which is vue create barkwire. And it's going to give us some options. We want to manually select features. So go to manually select features. And the way this works, use your arrows or J and K to toggle through these, and press space to turn one on or off. So I'm going to turn on router and Vuex and CSS preprocessor. And why not? I'll turn on the, I'll leave the testing off. All right, so I'm going to install all those things. Hit enter. Would you like to use history mode for router? Yes, I would. If you haven't figured this out, when they give you two options like this, the one in capital letters is the one that it defaults to if you just hit enter. So I'm going to hit enter. Which CSS preprocessor? First one's fine. Which linter? First one's fine. First one's fine. Where do I want to put these? First one's fine. I'll say this is a preset. Why no, I don't. All right, so now it's going to scaffold out a project for us. This makes the directory. This makes all the boilerplate files. This wires everything together. This installs all the dependencies.
I got one more.
Yep.
It says use yarn or use npm.
Use npm, because you probably don't have yarn installed. Maybe. All right. Now, down at the bottom, tells us what we have to do. If we cd into barkwire, and then we run serve, should be good to go. So I'm going to cd into barkwire, and then I'm going to tmux. I'm going to set one of these up for serving, one of these up for editing, and one of these up for just running regular command line stuff. So if I run npm run serve, come to life. All right, let's see what's happening over on port 8080. Hey, it's a Vue app. So we've scaffolded out a Vue app. Now if we tour this a little bit, we'll see a lot of boilerplate. So this is the folder that it made for us. Got these 3 directories and these 4 files. In this source directory, that's our app. Basically everything we write goes in this source directory. An assets folder for us, components folder for us, set up a router, set up a store, set up some views, top level component, bootstrapper. So what I like to do when I make a new app is basically delete all the boilerplate. So I want you to follow along with me. Go into source app.vue.
Do we want to stop the server?
Nope, you can keep the server running. Doesn't matter. And I want you to delete everything except that like top level div. Get rid of all the stuff in the styles here. So your app.vue should look like this. And then once you've done that, we're going to go over to views. And we are going to delete both of them. Yeah. And then store is fine. Over in router, you're going to delete this home import. You're going to delete all the routes. So if you do this right, you should have this. We got rid of an import, and we got rid of everything in this array. And then I'm going to go over to components. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go over to Assets. I'm going to delete this. So when you're done with this, you'd have nothing in the Assets folder, nothing in the Components folder. Your router should be stripped down. Your store should be the same. Your Views folder should be empty. And your app.view should be Spartan. And just to make sure we didn't break anything in the process, we're going to go back into the app.view and just add any HTML tag. If I go back over here, cool. Questions thus far?
Repeat that one more time.
Yep, absolutely.
I had to kind of.
No problem. So we go over to app.view. We just strip out all the shit. So you still need this top level div. We're just going to put something that shows that we still got it wired. You should have nothing in your views folder. Store folder should be untouched. Nothing in the assets folder. Nothing in the components folder. In router, we're stripping out that import for the home router, the about router, whatever it was, and then deleting everything inside of that array.
What do you have
On the app.view?
Oh, if you look at your page.
Oh.
Yeah, home and about.
Everybody have fun tonight. Cool, let me see your app.view.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. All right, any other questions?
You said to delete the the stuff in assets folder.
Correct.
And the stuff in components.
Assets, components, and views. All right, so let's play around with this a little bit. So over here, if I go into that app.view folder, right off the bat, we got some kind of cool shit. We have our HTML and the CSS for this in the same place. Also, with this lang equals SCSS that we got, we can just start writing some sass. Pori Hemplo. Let's say I want to wrap this in a header. And I want to put a main over here. And I put an H2. It says dogs. And I'm going to put a list, unordered list of dogs. I'll say div class equals dog. This UL will say that's class equals dogs. And a dog consists of an H3 with a name and a P tag for some description. Shows up on the page. Make a couple of those. Cool. Pretty good so far. All right, now over in this style, I can actually start styling some of this stuff. I can say I want the header to have padding of 3 rems. All right. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller on the top and bottom. So we'll say 2 on the top and bottom, 3 on the sides. A little bit better. I'm also going to do the same thing with main. Okay, looking better already. I'm going to say that all LIs should have padding left nothing. Oh, that's what it should be. Is it UL? There we go. So get rid of the built-in padding for that. I'm also going to say they should have list style none. All right. And here I can start getting sassy. I can nest selectors inside of that. So I can say any LIs that are in ULs, or even shoot, I can say any dog in dogs should have margin bottom 2 rems. I can say that it should have a padding of, let's start with 2 rems too. Maybe only on top and bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to give it a box shadow of 0, 1 pixel, 12 pixels, and HSL, some just kind of light shadow around that. All right. Do actually want a little bit sides there. Yeah, maybe just the full 2 rems. Okay. All right. So, awesome. Let's download some stuff. So even without using components or like any of the cool reasons that we use these frameworks, right off the bat, it's kind of easier to make web pages. Questions so far?
Why is it easier? Because the CSS?
So notice that this was updating in real time as I was typing. I didn't have to install anything to make that happen. That I have this HTML here. But notice I also didn't have to write any of that like HTML boilerplate stuff. I kind of got all that for free because there's not that many right ways to write that stuff. That stuff's all here. Cool, done. My app just gets injected in here.
Okay.
Done. And I get styles in the same place, and I get sass. All this stuff's just kind of for free. All right. I can also do production builds for free too. If I do npm run build, this is part of Vue CLI, it's going to give me a minified, zipped up, obfuscated, all the shit version of the site for free. No matter how many components I make, it's going to put it all into one JavaScript file. Dope. So, all right. Now let's figure out how we start taking advantage of Vue. We use a component library. We haven't really done any components. So the component process, and this applies to React, Angular, everything, starts with write it out like this. Just write out the HTML. Hard code in all these values. Don't try to overthink it. It's just like, I was just doing the Hashkabal review, and remember back on day 2 or whatever, I was like, instead of keeping your method with all these like nested eaches and shit, make these little helper methods. Maybe you start with the complicated one and you make it less complicated as you go. Same thing with this. All I need to do is keep it looking like this. Although I'll also never miss an opportunity to show you how easy it is to unfuck your fonts. Let's go over to Google Fonts. Roboto, why not? First one. You pick it. Go to the import syntax. Copy that down. Put it at the top here. Body. Font family. Roboto. fall back to sans serif. And wow, this already looks better. Never want to see you present a project with default browser fonts. Running out of time. Not buying it.
Does that take import?
Yes, and you just copy and paste it. They give it to you.
Oh,
Yeah, so you can do that, but don't do that.
okay.
Copy that down. That's all you got to do. Cool. So now I want to start breaking this into some components. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dogs component. Yeah. So to make a new component, I make a file in the components directory. So I'm going to do touch source components dogs.vue, not .js. If it was React, you'd do .js, but there's no template tag in HTML. There's no, we're going to use script and style, but they mean different things in this. So .vue extension. All right. Then I'm going to go over to that dogs file, empty. A Vue component has 3 parts to it. It has a template. It has a script. And it has a style. HTML, JavaScript, CSS. We want to enable sass for something. Lang equals SCSS. Done. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of this over, this UL, and we're going to make that the template for this. And then the way that we use that over here is we're going to add a script tag. We're going to export default in object. And we're going to import that component in. So we'll say import dogs from the @ / components / dogs. All throughout Vue, @ is code for whatever your source directory is. So you don't have to count double dots or go from the root or anything like that. Just @ is source, and you can move up from there. So I want to import that, and then I want to say the components that are available in this template are dogs. And as a reminder, that's code for dogs is dogs. Then I can use the component just like it's an element. Components are custom elements. Components are custom elements. Components are custom elements. Just like form, input, button, those kind of have like behaviors around them. They look a certain way. You can attach listeners to them, that kind of thing. All components are is it gives you the ability to make your own versions of those.
Are there keywords? Can you overwrite them? Like, say I make a component called main or body.
Yep.
Would I throw a fit if I tried that, or?
No, you can do that.
Okay.
There are some limitations on like, Vue's pretty loosey-goosey on this. Let's say in Ember, like component names have to have a dash in them because that's the official component spec. There are, I don't think there's any rules like that for Vue. In React, they might have to start with capital letters. That's all I can think of. I know in React and probably in all of them, you can't do one that's already an element name.
Okay, that's kind of.
Yeah, so I can't make a P one.
Sure.
Let's see, can't find the component. There we go. Cool. And they're all back. Neat. So now, here's where some magic starts happening. This really is, I don't want to hard code these things. These are coming from an API, something like that. So I need to start like extracting some of this data out. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to make one more component. I'm going to make one for dog. Just like before, touch source components dog.view. And over in dog.view, I'm going to start by just copying all of my dogs component. I'll put that in. Just give me one of these dogs. Dope. Over here in the script, just like I did over an app, I need to do all these things. Except I'm going to do it for dog. And now for each of these, I just say a dog should go here. Cool. Everything's still there. Sweet, making progress. Now, since all this stuff's coming from an API or something, I want to make these dynamic. So the way that I do that is I need to tell this component what things are going to be passed into it. I do that with export default props, and I'm going to make a list of everything that's allowed to be passed into this. So in my case, it's going to be name, which is a string, and description, which is also a string. And then this becomes name, description. All right. Okay, so now there's nothing in there. But watch this. Name, Bixby, description, oh, interesting. And so I can do this with these other ones. I can say this one's Mesa and this one is Harmony. Cool. Now I got dynamic data happening. All right. But again, it's coming in from an API or something. And so really, I want to pass in an array of these to this dogs list and then have it manage how they all happen. So I'm going to say this has a computed property called dogs, and dogs just returns an array of objects. Name, Bixby, description, killer dude. This is Mesa. This is Harmony.
Does it not care about that little comma at the end of it?
It's called a trailing comma, and it's legal in JavaScript. It's even kind of preferred. Because the cool thing about trailing commas is I can change the order of these, and I don't have to rewrite my code.
Sure, yeah. That's convenient.
It is convenient. Can't do it in JSON, FYI, but you can do it in JavaScript.
Okay.
All right, so I have these 3 dogs here. Then I can say, for the dogs component, dogs is, and I have to put a colon in front of it if I want to do JavaScript stuff. I would like to avail the dogs that I have to this component that I own in my template. And over here, I need to tell it that I'm looking for that. Dogs is going to be an array. And here's where the magic happens. Instead of repeating all these hard-coded ones, I can loop through v4 dog in dogs, and then I can bind name to dog.name, and I can bind description to dog.description, and it didn't like that. React started making this required too. I think this is a stupid pattern, whatever. So anything that loops, they want you to do keys now. So we'll say dog.id. We could do dog.name, it's fine. It just needs to be unique. There's my dogs. So let's review. I have 3 components in here. App, my top level component. Everything is inside of app. I have a dogs component, and I have a dog component. This top level component imports the dogs component, makes it available to the template right here, and then uses it in the template there. Also, I have this property here that I can also use in the template. And in this case, I'm passing it into the dogs component. While I'm at it, I should probably take this style and move it over here. Inside the dogs component, I'm saying I'm using a dog component in this. That should be available in the template. Also, I'm expecting you to give me some dogs. This should be an array. Then I'm looping through that array, so I can do some light logic in the template. You can also do ifs, that kind of stuff. And saying, for every dog that I got passed, make a new instance of the dog component and give it these variables. And then I'm going to take that dog style and put it there. Now this is expecting a name and a description, which I can use in the template. It all comes together. Component, component, component. That is front-end frameworks in a nutshell. They all kind of do that. They do it in more opinionated or less opinionated ways, but that's what you're looking at. What questions do you have?
When are you uploading this video?
I'll do it right now.
Okay.
What else? So what this looks like in a production app, Develop Denver is a Vue app. Lots of the same stuff. So right now, I go over to developdenver.org. It's a little bit borked right now, but all right, here's the app. The header is the sidebar. This thing right here, which consists of this goofy spinning thing and oh shit, that's the mobile one. As the hamburger menu and some other stuff. It's got this main area, and then a router view is like a way to punch a hole in a template and then render something inside of it. But same stuff. Brings in some components. It's got styles. The components themselves. Some simple ones like the footer. These like barely even do anything. It's just kind of organizing some HTML. I'm bringing in the social icons. But otherwise, all it knows is whether or not you're logged in. Some styles. More complicated ones, like, let's see, it's a good one. It's a good complicated component in here. This one's pretty complicated. So this is a talk. You submit a talk to the conference. This is how it shows up on the page. And it has a lot of things for whether or not you submitted the talk, and so whether or not you are allowed to edit it. So that's like if current user talk, there's an if statement there. So otherwise, this edit talk link never shows up. You can take things like this, like the talk types, that rather than like rewriting that a bunch of times, this is just available throughout the component, and it's organized like an array, so you can do things like loop through it and look shit up. Some computer properties. Things like your description is too long. The description can only be 250 characters. And so this function, if it's longer than that, we'll just truncate it and put ellipses at the end. Also, we allow you to write in markdown for your description. So we import a markdown converter that takes like your markdown and turns it back into HTML. Yeah, that's a production Vue app. Kind of looks like that. Keep all my typography in one place. So these are all the colors in the app. There's only 3, believe it or not. It's brutalist. So these are browser resets. All the different sizes that are used in the app. Again, not that many of them. There's a grid that the app adheres to. So we make a mix-in, so every place that we use it, we just include that mix-in. Fucking sick. All right, any last questions?
Back when you did the build command,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like spit out a JavaScript and
Mm-hmm.
I've got the other two. What would you do with those at that point?
Cool. So if I go into that dist folder that it made, I can light server this. I can do whatever.
Okay.
And that's just, there's no view to that anymore. It's just a JavaScript file, a CSS file, and an HTML file. And so I can take that folder and put that on Firebase or any kind of file server. And then that's the app. And that's true of React and all of them. You write it in this like frameworky kind of thing, but your browser doesn't speak React. It doesn't speak Vue. It doesn't know any of this shit. You write it that way, and then you compile it into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And all that just happens automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. That's what the CLI tools are doing for you. But yeah, it's kind of magical.
Is the default port is 8080? Is that something you decide, or?
No, so it's 8080 because the default web port on everything is 80.
Yeah.
8080 is out of the legal range, I think. And so it's an indication that this port should be a website, but not really. But ultimately, it doesn't fucking matter. And if you needed to make it something else, I think you can do Vue, let's see, port equals 9000 npm run serve. That might do it. Yeah, now it's serving on 9000.
Okay.
Cool. Other questions? All right, survey going out. Thanks. Bye.